Back in Action is a brand new action comedy that is now streaming on Netflix. It came out over this past weekend. This movie is directed by Seth Gordon, and it stars Cameron Diaz in like her first movie in forever. It also stars Jamie Foxx, it stars Kyle Chandler, and Glenn Close also shows up in this movie. The story here is pretty simple. Jamie Foxx and Cameron Diaz play this couple in this movie, this married couple that used to work for the CIA. After their secret identities are exposed, they're forced to take their kids and go on the run while someone is hunting them for some information that they had way back in the day when they were spies. Thus, they have a conspiracy. Thus, we have a generic-ass spy movie. I've always tried to be fair in every single one of my reviews. In fact, I hope that's the #1 takeaway from all of my reviews when you guys watch. I hope that everybody knows that I'm fair to movies, and in that sense, I do have a couple of tiny positives for this movie. I do think that Jamie Foxx and Cameron Diaz sometimes are trying. It does feel like this is one of Jamie Foxx's weaker performances he's had in a minute. Cameron Diaz, I like her. She's always been a likable actress to me, and for this to be her first movie in I don't know how long, she looks like she hasn't missed a beat, so there is that. They don't really have great chemistry necessarily, but they also have a dog shit script that they're trying to wade their way through, so I will say there are moments, there are tiny moments where I can tell that they're both trying their best with what they're given. I think my favorite thing about the movie is actually some of the smaller action scenes when the movie is focusing on like car chases or hand-to-hand stuff or these small little shootouts. When the movie focuses on the skirmishes and not necessarily the big, huge CGI action sequence, I feel like the movie low-key is at its best. I especially like the scenes where Jamie Foxx and Cameron Diaz's character, I like the scenes where they have to team up, where they have to like work together during a fight scene and they're kind of playing off of each other, tag teaming a lot of their enemies. I like the synergy between them. I have a married couple that know each other so well and knows what the other one is thinking and knows what each other's moves are, that during action scenes they can kind of use that to their benefit against enemies. I thought that was pretty cool. Looking at Cameron Diaz always reminds me of The Mask, where she was like in the 1% of elite milk in the world, and yeah, there's that. So I thought maybe there was a possibility after the good start that we got off to in January. I thought there was a strong possibility that we might not get one of these type of movies, like a real stinker. I thought maybe we would wait until February for one of those. It comes out on Netflix, you check it out and you realize, well, yeah, this is why people used to have those weird feelings about January movies. This is absolutely a crapper. This is a stink fest. This is one of the most generic, boring movies that you're ever gonna see in your life. And a lot of people are gonna call this movie generic. They're gonna call it generic because it feels like 1,000 other spy movies all rolled into one. And not like in a fun way where they take the best parts of those movies and turn it into their own thing. No, it just literally feels like they're copying off of every other spy movie that's ever happened. Cliche is not a strong enough word for what I would use to describe the script for this movie. I think dog shit is probably the strongest word I would use to describe the script for this movie. The script is absolute dog shit. The dialogue here is very painful. It's a very unfunny movie. You take two actors that have natural charisma, you reduce them to being boring ass cliche archetypes who can't get out of their own way in this movie. Like, some of the worst dialogue, some of the worst humor, some of the worst imagined scenarios that the script decided would be fun to tell for the story in this movie. They stretch it out to such an unfunny extent and an unrealistic extent where their kids clearly know, okay, you've been lying about some stuff, you've kept some secrets, just let us in. And they're still trying to pretend like, no, everything's cool, everything's good, we're going along on this trip, everything will be fine. Meanwhile, there are people chasing after them who have guns, people who are trying to kill their parents, and I'm just like, can y'all drop this? This is not funny. It's one thing for a movie to be uninspiring, it's another thing for it to be dull, but one thing you can't stand is if it's both of those things, plus it's annoying as hell. Like, this movie has some of the most annoying, unlikable people in it. Can you give me something? Can you give me anything for me to root for with these characters? The movie decides, no, it's hard for me to really buy into the family dynamic when the family doesn't feel like a real family. It's not funny, it's not exciting, the story is very predictable, very cliched. If somebody wanted to tell me that this movie was made with AI, I would not be shocked, I would not be surprised. This movie is the definition of a conveyor belt assembly line generic ass spy movie. I would rather watch a praying mantis fuck. Have you guys seen praying mantises? Have you seen them fuck? It looks painful, but I'd rather watch that. I would rather watch a koala sleep. In fact, I would rather watch a sloth take a shit. That's likely gonna be 3 hours of my life I can't get back. That's no different than the 2 hours of my life I spent watching this movie. Back in Action is a really awful movie. I hope you guys don't see it. I'm gonna give this one the rating of kryptonite. Tell me how many of you would be okay with being a spy and how would you go about it? Go ahead and put some scenarios for that in the comment section for me. Please like and subscribe to the Superfan Show, and if you like what you see, tell me how you feel and stay tuned to hear more from the Man of Steel. Peace.